Whoa.
Dying
Well,
live.
everybody, yeah, we were supposed to go live earlier today, but my neighbors were actually playing loud music, and then Warren was also busy. But usually the show is going to be around like 4 p.m. PST. But what's going on, everybody? It's a Cloud9 Podcast, Season 4, Episode 14, Worlds 2022, main group stage kicked off, and it was an utter disaster for North America. And I mean, I didn't really have North America doing pretty much anything at Worlds going into this year for several different reasons, actually, but seeing how like NA has performed at Worlds so far this year has been just absolutely horrifying, and we're going to talk about that much later. EU definitely surprising everybody. I do want to talk about Fnatic later on. They definitely have been, ramping up ever since the playing stage, which I've been a big advocate of the playing stage. I think the playing stage is actually really beneficial for teams like Fnatic who need to work on what they need to work on, and getting a chance to play against.
Just as long as it's only two major regions.
Yeah. But after this year, I'm so done with watching major region teams in the play-ins. No more of that. But we know Riot, they're not gonna, fucking change it. They're just gonna keep the same old archaic format forever. And then Riot suspended Carlos for whatever reason. Because reasons, right? Riot suspended Carlos after he had already stepped down from being the CEO of G2. I really don't understand. I'd read a good majority of why they did it, but it's just so stupid. It's just, if you read the fine lines of it, it's so fucking stupid, actually. But that's just me. Other than that, there's a lot of other things that ended up happening too. I'll most likely cover these like new news segments and like videos per se. We have Bjergsen that might actually be looking for another team. I mean, that should be expected. I think most people knew that the TL, superstar team was going to end up assembling after their failure to make the 2022 League of Legends World Championship. But I'll have those videos, coming out later on, actually. I have several of them ready. The reason why I haven't put them out yet is because, after Worlds, there's not going to be a lot of league content for you guys. So I want to make sure that I do that for you guys later on, actually. I want to make sure I have that as content to put out because, after Worlds is done, there's no more League of Legends for the entire year. And the only thing you're going to have to deal with is, just the offseason news. The offseason begins, as you guys know, in November. The offseason pretty much begins in November on a Monday, begins like the 19th. It's the week before Thanksgiving usually, or it's like a week before that. So after Worlds, people start trying to get together a roster for 2023, actually. And that's when all of the poaching ends up beginning for a lot of these teams. I'll mention this right now. These guys are out there poaching right now. There's people out there legitimately poaching right now. I know so many stories, actually, from following this for so long. Literally right now at Worlds, there are NA players talking to each other. You could have one main NA player talking to another player, trying to poach them and trying to get them to join their team going into next year. Don't get it twisted, guys. Just because other poaching has come out, doesn't mean that other people aren't doing it. I mean, Lena was really poaching, actually. And it was shown in evidence that she was poaching, but Reginald said she wasn't. But, Reginald's obviously not that smart. So, yeah, what's going on, guys, tonight? What's up, Chaz? How you doing, man? Are you off work, dude? What's going on, man? Ziak, what's up, man? Yeah, NA might be doomed to fail. Yeah. So, there's a lot to talk about tonight. We'll try and make sure we put stuff in ultimate perspectives from how they feel versus how I feel. Like, I'll say this. Coming in and watching a lot of these games, like I was watching them, it's just super, super disheartening. Like I saw some of the teams throw out their best shit and it still didn't work, or let's just kind of see where it's going to go. Right. So let's start with North America. It's the big talking point of Worlds 2022 so far is that NA is now currently 0-9. And I want to make sure I also emphasize this too. NA is 0-9, and then in all of these 9 games, actually, you know what ended up happening? They didn't even take a tier 2, and they have the lowest first blood rates for any of the major regions at Worlds. Lowest first bloods. They've taken no tier 2s. They have the worst dragon takes. They have the worst objectives taken overall. Worst CS differentials at 10. Worst CS differentials at 15. Worst damage share amongst all. They're just in the bottom for all the stats and the gameplay itself. So they're just not playing good. I do want to give credit to EG. They have been playing somewhat okay, somewhat decent, but it's the thing that we talked about, last week and weeks prior, is like, doesn't really matter how good you can play against these Eastern or Asian teams, right? They're just not good enough. Their players are legitimately just not good enough to compete, Now, I'm not saying that they can't compete.
I disagree.
What do you mean?
I'll wait till you finish your point. I just want to say,
because even if they're throwing their best stuff at them, it's still not good enough. It's legitimately not good enough. Like, if NA does end up winning a few games this week coming up, because it happens tomorrow, right? Yeah, the games will end up coming up tomorrow. I think that's fine, honestly. I mean, it's BO1s. Anything can still happen, right? But right now, it just looks super, super dire. Like, the games that EG was somewhat competitive against JDG, but like JDG were never going to really lose that game. It was back and forth. I'll say that too, but JDG were never in any trouble losing that game. EDG kind of played a decent game against Damwon, but the Jace pick really, really fucked them. And I'm glad Naguri pulled out Jace too. That was nice to see. But even after EG trying their absolute hardest to get anything, it still wasn't good enough. Cloud9 just ended up getting railed consistently. Even in the game against T1, they lost just by laning phase. It was just all the laners getting gapped. They were getting gapped pretty hard. 100 Thieves, I don't even know what the fuck kind of crack they're smoking. Maybe Nate Shot hired Valkyrie to like suck off fucking FBI under the fucking desk, and then that's why he's playing so bad. I'll be like, actually like that myself too. But yeah, that's pretty much it so far. I'll let you guys go for a second. That's just my general like synopsis of how Worlds has gone for NA so far. It's not been good, like at all. Outside of like EG's kind of okay, decent ways they play the game, but that's just me.
No, you know what? You can save me for last, actually.
I think Sean is dealing with his neighbors yelling or some shit. Hi, Coleman.
Okay,
Hi,
well.
Canadian man. Leftist Canadian man. If you're talking, I can't hear you. But sure. Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, then
go ahead.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's a player issue. I think the problem is that I thought Champions Queue was going to be helpful, but so far Champions Queue.
You're an idiot.
Explain yourself.
Where are the women at? Oh, okay. So yes, I am dealing with these nut job neighbors, but I did try talking there. Apparently the setting was fucked. Okay. So yeah, I mean,
do you like Joe Biden? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Joe Biden is. I mean, he gave me the M-word pass. So
okay. Because I know we were talking about this last night, and I did put a little bit more thought into it. I just don't think it's a player thing, because
it's not a player thing. I don't think it's a player thing, because you have to remember last year, I think we sent almost, outside of Perks being mid, Jensen being mid for TL, they had Alfari, and then 100 Thieves had the exact same team. So there must have been I think the way that we go about moving around the map is terrible. Our picks have been terrible in the sense of why are you picking? Like, the thing is, I'm looking at the EU LPL and I'm looking at LCK, right? And in some lane between the duo lane and the mid lane, there is a late game carry. Like, Victor is up lots of times. And if you know Victor is going to, like, for instance, I know why they went after Jensen. They went after Jensen because if Victor starts getting 1 or 2 kills, he's going to outrange the team. He's just going to do so much damage and kite and everything, depending upon if he went phase rush or not. And so I don't even blame Jensen for that game. If you saw that game, Blabber didn't cover him. Why? Because they were playing to Fudge, which I get Fudge is good. Fudge is mechanically good. That's not a question. I'm not saying he's 369 or he's or he's breathe. That's
the most clueless thing is to say that Fudge has been bad so far, and he definitely hasn't been like good, though he has been like getting out CS and stuff. But the main issue is just the champs he's picking. That's literally it. If he was on something more like Camille, like he's usually great at, and that he can easily do stuff on more than instead of just fucking Fiora, which didn't even work out well for him in LCS playoffs. He mostly sucked on it when he kept picking it besides like one game. Then it would have been fine.
And also, like, Jensen plays a great TF. He plays Galio. He plays Lissandra.
Yeah, he has a low champ pool.
He has no. Jensen can play. Jensen is known for his TF and his.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't picked Syndra, but.
Well, it's just because Azir outranges, and then with depending on the dragons, it's just you're not bursting anybody, right? Because they could pick Vex if they really wanted to, and blow up. But the thing is what I'm saying is, if you notice, the teams have some sort of laking. Like you're picking MF, and then you're picking Set. It's like you need something that's going to guarantee you damage, and then also they are like, you know what? Let's do the salty run back, and I get it. Some of these coaches need to take. I don't know if the analysis is not good, but the coaches need to take some blame. Because, yes, I know the players are like, yeah, this is a good pick. But if I'm the coach and I know what is, like, if I'm seeing Xiaohu gapping Chovy on Lissandra or at least coming even.
Yeah.
Wow, 1+1. Maybe we should play Lissandra.
Xiaohu was that guy who was, he made Lissandra a priority to play against champions like LeBlanc, Azir, Silas.
Let's play TF. Maybe you can.
Syndra came back. I was thinking the same thing too. Why don't they play Syndra?
Jace. I don't understand. Everybody's like, "What's the answer to Aatrox, bro? What is Aatrox going to do when Jace Hammerthorns
poking you out?
He can't do. A good Jace is going to beat Aatrox, and he's going and Aatrox punishes you for mispositioning. That's what Aatrox. He's not a flanker. He's not an engager. He literally says, you know what? You misposition. I'm gonna Q you to death, and I'm gonna get resets. Right. And the thing is, I see sometimes they pick. They've picked say Jax. I'm like, wait a minute. Shyvana was still good. There's nothing wrong with Shyvana. She scales. Dragons are priority.
Berto will pull out Camille.
Camille is way easier to like Cole said. Camille is way easier to play than Fiora. And
we saw Oda Wamne pick Maokai top, not jungle. Use that very effectively.
And if they decide to go say with Maokai, and you have Shyvana's gonna like say go through her, and you could even switch her to the jungle to match the Maokai, which. Again, that's me looking at the draft and analyzing it, right? So
we're gonna look at a lot of drafts, guys, because I wanted to make sure I watched. I literally watched every single game because at the time I get off, I can watch every single game. There are some times I step away from a certain game.
Oh, I stopped watching any games. I'm sorry.
Those games that I should have not watched, actually. So I would step away and do my YouTube videos, and I would come back and the games are still playing. But I want to talk about these drafts specifically because these were the ones that were just blowing my brain. And not just gameplay itself. It wasn't even just drafting. It was just gameplay itself that was so egregious. Because I could understand a world where you don't draft as well, but you're still banking on the fact that, okay, your players are at least good enough to try and, at least play the champions out good. Because it's not always just about the draft. It's also about how you play the actual comp out. That is true. But in some of these compositions, you really can't do anything. Like, you can't. You know, like where do you start your team fighting? And then you have a mixture of like late game and early game, but people have to understand that if you're playing a late game champion, that champion is not going to actually get activated until about 25 minutes into the game holistically when you have about 2 items ready for it, right? So then I'm also looking at I definitely want to commend Rogue for playing as well as they have, so far. I think they played pretty well. Fnatic have stepped up a lot. Fraud. Oh shit. If they get out of groups, you're gonna be eating your cock.
I guarantee you, they're not beating a Chinese team in a best of 5. They're not doing it.
I mean, EDG hasn't been good. It's just okay. Well,
EDG is ramping up. You have to say that.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Look, I think
they're 2-1. Like
I don't know. I don't think Scouts Flandre have been good. I don't think Ming has.
That first game against
Mako has been that good.
Like, I do agree. They have played better after that T1 game, but that T1 game, they got gapped pretty hard.
I think the only reason why Fnatic and EDG are doing so well is because, again, they're just T1 and Cloud9, I think, are, well, on paper, they should be very good teams. They're kind of like been the worst with adapting, so so I can see T1 not making it out.
I don't see it.
I think it's literally just their skill level on players pushing them. If they were actually, like how they're actually playing, they would probably get eliminated. That's why, there was still some hope Cloud9 could have beat T1 there, but they fucked it up. So,
like I said before in the previous week's episodes, if you can't match their bar of T1, it doesn't matter. All these guys are going to get fucking destroyed. The only one that beat them was Fnatic, but that was a really bad draft.
I mean, all 4 of these teams are. Well, I kind of agree with Warren. Actually, Fnatic are kind of, frauds because both of their games, the other teams drafted like apes. So,
well, we have to look at gameplay itself. It's not just about drafting bad, right? Because we're actually playing well in the game.
That was literally one of the worst drafts ever against Cloud9. They gave them like the toughest comp ever to beat in this meta.
What I'm saying is like. The gameplay itself in the game. It's not just about the draft itself. The gameplay
and Cloud9 was actually looked kind of better than them in that game. It's just it was impossible with that draft.
Think about this, MSK. They had layer after layer. They did. I think there was one point where Jensen or I think Blabber it was Maokai alt into Renata alt into Horn. How you unless you're Ghost from Thunderbolts or Spider-Man. You're not dodging that. I'm sorry. And like that scales because remember, you're gonna give ornaments.
Right.
If the enemy team has more items and you get a good ult, they're gonna be doing damage to each other. And then the CC from Maokai and then Ornn and Renata's like, Renata just basically that game just was like they just got out drafted. Like I don't think if Fnatic or
what if they draft just about even and Fnatic still beats them?
The problem is that they're not playing to the meta that we're like. If you ever see, to me, when I watch NA, I've never think of them as a mid jungle duo when it comes to Worlds. It's mostly been bot lane. If you've seen most like even when they went through, they didn't play through Sneaky, but they mostly won with Sneaky.
Right.
They play. So like to me, you play through Berserker, you give him a winning lane, the thing is that's bothering me is why are you picking MF when Jinx can beat Aphelios?
I think they said that Jinx got nerfs on the patch that they're playing, right? I think. I could be wrong.
And she's actually fine. She's actually fine.
Zeri's not in the meta anymore either.
We don't know because nobody plays her.
That's the problem, though. Like when
because
players see nerfs.
Remember, EDG played Yuumi Sivir, and Yuumi Sivir is not supposed to be good.
Yeah, T1. If you have to instantly ban Yuumi and Sivir against T1 every game now, otherwise you will straight up lose to them. They know how to play that duo the best, and we saw that they played that duo the best. Like there are certain champions that you see in scrims that I would hope these teams see in scrims. They just take away. If you cannot beat T1 playing Yuumi and Sivir, you need to take it away from them. People go like, well, we could kind of beat it if we just play better. No, it was proven you can't. It was proven you can't do it. You're just going to keep giving up free wins. How many times do I have to see EG versus G2 to know that EG is worse than G2? I don't know how many more wins.
Like for instance, to me, like I think honestly Vladimir is good here. And the reason I say this is because if you have, let's say you first pick Maokai, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you pick Vladimir. Vladimir can go top or
Mm-hmm.
mid, and he scales, and he can go into the back line, and he can flank. And if like Impact can play a good Vladimir, so I'm like saying to myself, why are you putting Impact on? I forgot what the
yeah. We're gonna look. We're gonna look at one of the games right now. We're gonna go through a good amount of them.
Renekton. I'm like, bro. If you
also, make sure you guys are watching. Make sure you guys smash the like button too. Smash the like button. Like the stream.
I don't think. I'm not saying that NA is supposed to get 3 teams out. I'm not stupid. I'm not saying that NA is supposed to like, but I had hoped that at least one team could have gone 4-2. That was a possible. I thought C9 could have gone 4-2. Maybe if Danny was there, I think they could have possibly, because I think Danny is better than Flacket, but Targamas is better than Vulcan. That's my take.
Well, my thing here with Cloud9 that I saw through like all 3 of the games is the drafting was bad, but it's not even always just about the draft. The actual players themselves are not playing good. I think a lot of people get into this mindset of, oh, it's the draft. The draft is bad. That's what makes them playing bad. It's not that simple though, because what if they got a good draft, but they're still playing bad in the game itself? They're still playing bad in the game itself.
Like if you were to show me every game, I'd be like, garbage, trash, 0, -1. No. None of, like I'm sure Cole will agree. None of those drafts were good.
Like Sven, we knew Sven would not be good in a enchanter meta, right? For supports, we knew that going in.
Yeah, but you mean outside of it?
Like literally with an enchanter meta, we knew he wouldn't be good. No, sorry. Oh my god, that's enchanter. My bad.
Yeah.
In a engage meta, we knew he wasn't going to be good.
But the thing is, I mean,
and he's not a support.
No. But the thing is, on other support, yes, outside of enchanters, yes, but some of the engaged champions like Nautilus and Tom Kench and Alistar, those 3 just in specific, he showed his better games on in LCS, so it could have worked. I just think that the support, not only is he not just a support player outside of the baby enchanter meta, but I also just think like the champs he's been picking those into comms, because that's really the only ones that he can play right now, are just like go horrible with it. Like, what was he supposed to do with Nautilus in that Fnatic game besides just hook himself into death?
Yeah, see, that's the game where picking Tom Kench to save your Fiora or MF would have been good, actually.
Yeah.
No, you don't pick MF. That is a problem.
Oh yeah. No, you shouldn't have picked MF. You should pick like even just.
They banned Caitlyn on their 3rd ban.
But that's
even
fine.
like fucking Ezreal, Kaisa,
Zaya's AoE.
Oh, look, one team. You know, the rules also really didn't. I saw 100 Thieves give up on stage. I saw them give Gala Kaisa, and I was like, "You lost. I'm not watching this shit."
I mean, hold on. Was sorry, what's his name again? Was Aphelios banned in that Fnatic?
No,
game?
Aphelios took Fnatic. Remember, Upset was playing Aphelios.
Oh, right. Yeah, I thought he was playing someone else for some reason. Okay.
So my thing here is,
even Draven would have worked better. Jesus Christ.
For me personally, it's not really just all about the draft. The NA players just aren't playing good. They're not playing well at all.
But the thing is, you need winning lanes. So
it doesn't matter though. Even if they got good drafts, even if they got good drafts, they still would have lost the game because their players are still playing bad.
That's not what I mean, MSK. What I mean is, if you say have one lane is always supposed to be black, but when you have lanes that are saying like that are just losing. Yes, it's gameplay, but you have to have, like, you need to give the resources to the players that you think are going. Like, Victor, for instance, if you give Victor to Jensen, he's an immobile mage, right? So he's going to need Blabber to play around with. But Blabber's not going to do that because he's going to go topside. to get the Fiora head.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's not about the draft. It's about what they're doing actually in the game. Because we're going to watch the Fnatic game right now.
What I mean,
it's both.
It's both. That's the thing. Because
but it's more based off gameplay too.
But he can't play Fiora.
In this game, they could have actually made it a bit more closer. They probably still would have lost.
I mean, are you sure? Because they looked better than Fnatic in this game.
Look at that.
Draft.
They only looked better for like around 15 minutes, though.
No, they were better.
Look at this team.
For 15 minutes? What are you talking about? They didn't look better after when it mattered in the game toward
What were you supposed to do with fucking MF in this comp? Seriously.
They got the solo kill. What?
Yes, and it didn't matter because
the thing is, it's not going to matter because how are you? MF
Blabber right after there should have pushed more bot lane. Blabber not pushing the advantage bot lane.
Literally,
when they got
Sedge,
the advantage,
LeBlanc, MF, Nautilus are all useless in this.
They should have set up. They need to set up dives with this game right when they got the kill.
MSK is this. Look at this. Let's look at this draft, right?
Okay.
This draft for NA says let's take away the nameplates in the team. This draft says I have to get ahead because guess what? If this goes to 30 minutes, I'm gonna get outranged.
And that's what they did. That's what they did early on. Enough they got enough ahead.
No, what I mean by ahead, that these people should have been behind levels. That they left.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You're talking like the lead that they got wasn't big enough.
Once it got to 25 minutes, this game is over. Like look at the kills. Like look at the time. Like this is cruising. And like
you're saying that they played too slow for a comp.
They played too slow for the comp.
Well, no, it was impossible for them to play fast enough in a comp like this, unless you're playing like unless you're playing like what's their name again? The LLA team.
Unless you play like Gigabyte Marines or
Loud. And then just look at the range. Like MF is short range. Aphelios is gonna outrange you. Azir is gonna outrange you. Orin and Maokai are both meatheads, and then oh my god, if I jump in, guess what? Renata's gonna. So they literally.
I mean, Gam has been better. They're just in a tougher group. I mean, if they had faced 100 Thieves, they would beat them as well.
The thing here is, if they're doing decent little stuff like that early on, they need to accelerate the pace of the game. That's what they need to do. But it doesn't matter because they didn't accelerate the pace of the game as much as they should have. Right?
Look at the Fiora. The Fiora should be ahead of the Orin. That's not like.
Is she ahead?
No.
No, she's not actually. Well, it depends on how you look at it.
No,
because they did take tier 1 with Rift Herald early on.
Like if the
that's not exactly him doing that, so I kind of see what you mean.
The Fiora needs to get kills and get the whole point of Fiora is that if they said they have to send 2 people because she can literally say, Q riposte,
right?
Q riposte, you're dead,
this is also the thing. LeBlanc in this game, I understood the mindset behind it, but the champions that Fnatic pick make LeBlanc useless. Can't one-shot Maokai, can't one-shot Orin, right?
Orianna would have been better here.
It also didn't help that Humanoid was beating Jensen in the game, too. That doesn't help either. Like, Jensen's massively far down. He had, like, 1.5 items.
Do anything with this
but LeBlanc's not supposed to stay in lane. LeBlanc's supposed to leave the lane. He did not do what his champ needed to do.
Personally, I think you don't pick Sedge. You pick, if you really want to get ahead, you pick Lee Sin because Lee Sin LeBlanc is a better 1-2 jungle duo. And then also, I don't even think you pick LeBlanc. I think you pick if you want to say actually team fight, you pick Orianna. But unfortunately, I believe she had a bug. I think this was before the bug was found, so she could have been picked, which I don't understand. Why is Orianna not picked?
Right there. Why would Sven throw himself and hook the tank first? That's not draft. That's just bad. Him hooking right there was horrible.
Who else is going to do?
You don't engage. You already lost the dragon. You just don't engage. And then right there in this fight, because I was watching it live, Berserker used his ultimate way too fast. If he had saved his ultimate for this part of the fight, where he could have actually maybe have shredded them a bit more, that would have maybe swung the game in their favor. He used his ult way too fast, and Sven hooked himself to die way too quickly. Because if they can make team fights look this close when it's this part of the game, about 26 minutes in, imagine what it looks like if you actually play the team fight out well. Because they not play this team fight out well either.
Lead, though.
What was it? It was about relatively. It's Cloud9's favor at this point, like 200, 300. It's like relatively even.
It's even against a late game comp. That's already you're already losing.
Yeah, and just like you said, they didn't get ahead enough early on as they should.
And then they have Mountain. So how are you bursting through that?
Right. And that was the thing about picking Sejuani. I didn't think Sejuani really worked here. Also, Blabber didn't really play that well this game. Blabber didn't go back down bot like I think he should have. He should have went down bot. They should have been diving bot consistently. When you get that kill on Renata and Aphelios that early on, you go down there and dive. Because the thing. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Personally, I think you prioritize Trundle because that says that if you pick Maokai, I'm just gonna take your stats, and if you pick anything, I'm gonna take because that forces them not to pick. If they even pick Maokai, Trundle was like yoink, and it's either you prioritize Silas or you prioritize Trundle because Trundle makes your comp relatively good, easy ganks, take stats, scales. This draft was just you have to get it like. The thing is, NA tried to play LPL style, but they're not an LPL team. Remember when we saw DRX versus RNG, and if RNG just didn't mess up like 2 kills, they were like really close with the fights because RNG know how to play fast and know how to do like they're playing like it's like what as much as I don't like agreeing with I will dominate. He's like NA
Does
comes
he hate
to
white people.
He's not even white. He's a border patroller. I don't know, or he's Arabic, one of the two, because
he's one of those burrito making fucking people,
or he's a halal guy. I don't know. But anyway, it's like he brings up a good point. It's like NA comes to Worlds and they're like, you know what? We're not gonna play what worked for us. We're gonna try to be different, bro.
Yeah, and it's very, very clear.
This motherfucker in the Joker group chat posted his email and password.
Oh my god!
In a public group chat. Fucking hell, champ! What the fuck?
So that's my thing here. Is it was very clear when watching these games that NA is not even just far behind. They're not even good at capitalizing on mistakes. Anyone was watching this later on the replay, and you guys watched this up on the replay. Watch these games again. And it will very clearly establish why the LPL and LCK teams are very good. Punishing mistakes. Remember the game against G2 and Damwon where they caught Broken Blade out and they instantly killed him and then went for the dragon? And A teams wouldn't do that. They would kind of see a Darius and go, why is he there? Oh, now we're getting flanked on. Oh, now we're all dead. Oh, now we lost the dragon. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Like,
all I'll say is people are clueless if they actually thought Rogue wouldn't beat DRX, but they shouldn't. But also they shouldn't be 3-0. They actually just got lucky at the one game TES because again they kind of that's the thing with them in comparison to JDG. They kind of choke it sometimes.
Sean, you can give credit where credit is you.
No, Rogue. What are you? Okay, first off, you're the one who doubted Rogue. I said
I didn't doubt anyone.
I said they could get first in their group. So shut up. And secondly,
you said in week
I'm
1.
not saying they
play out.
I'm not saying they played bad. I said they played good. I'm just saying it was an extremely close match, and TES showed up.
If it's extremely close,
and out of the 3 games, TES showed up 2. They showed up to that one on crack. I knew they would show up probably like at least 2 of those in their group.
Canadians, you guys are on crack. How is playing good luck? Luck is like if you do something completely stupid.
Rogue played good, but I'm saying
I don't like you.
I'm saying they didn't. Not play good enough where
you need to drink maple syrup and eat Canadian bacon, you bastard.
No, those 2 things are disgusting. Anyway, I'm saying they did not play good enough where if TES was playing to their full strength like they did on the other 2 games, and they probably wouldn't have won, but that's all my point was. But anyway, I will say if it wasn't for these shitty drafts or just game plans, and maybe it's just that the Cloud9 players have a small champion pool in this meta.
No, they don't. Come on, man.
But either way, I mean, you never know, but either way, though, if it wasn't for that, then they would at least be 1 and 2. They would at least beat Fnatic there, and then they probably wouldn't make it out because EDG is playing well. But if
the problem here that people need to understand, dude, is if they don't win that first game, they're playing up against Fnatic in that rematch, they're out. That is like OUT.
Yeah, they're out anyway. If they lose a single game, then they're out because it means then one of the teams has 3 wins, and then the other 2 teams will face each other later in the day. So another one will have 3. So the most they can get is 2. So they're out.
They need to win every single game. I think they.
Yeah, it's not like last year where they can get a fluke.
And then because I know people said, but didn't Cloud9 get out last year? Yeah, FPX were like not even a team at a certain point.
Yeah, but Rogue and FPX sucked, and that's a different format. They could get away with 2 wins. They should have made it out that. And plus, they showed at MSI and in that series that they were the better teams and they should have made it out. It's just that they were extremely inconsistent and just didn't play well together on the same day for whatever reason.
And now we're going to look at 100 Thieves versus the Flying Naggers. So this was one of the... I don't know what the fuck to think of this game. Because 100 Thieves, are they even trying anymore? They got 2v2'd by Koala, who... We've seen this guy international competition before. He's always kind of made it,
Koala is really good.
So right here is what you don't do against Kaisa. What FBR could have did is just automatically start running away. Him giving over this kill, sure, he gets a trade kill back against Rail. It doesn't matter. You giving a kill to Kaisa that early on, giving her that amount of gold, that's the worst thing you can do. Yeah, why not simply just run away? Since Wani wasn't even there. Right here. Since Wani's not even there. Since Wani's not even there. Why not, if you know you're going to die, just leave. Recall. Why would you give over a kill to Kaisa?
I'm sorry, this is exactly why FBI needs to be replaced.
Because the thing is, if he goes back, he loses 2 waves and he's already behind.
So what would you take? The 2 waves behind?
The 1-for-1 actually is makes him stay even.
Now, this fight, people were like, oh my God, they played this team fight really well. Oh, no, you need to watch this shit. Please. Okay, at this point, I think this is a game. Yeah, who he missed his bandage toss. Who he missed? What? Oh, L. What the fuck? He's reaching for the stars or some shit?
Yeah, Koala is so good.
Yeah, look. So people were like, "Oh my God, 100 Thieves, they're playing so good this game. They just got outscaled." No, they didn't.
Wait.
Reaching for Narnia.
Koala got gapped by Ming, man. Come on, man. Let's stop.
Because it's Maine.
But if he's so good, he should be able to keep his.
No, oh my God,
boy, that's not how that works.
It's a good. Okay, this is exactly what the shit MSK tried saying this about. Okay, saying a player from a minor region is good is different from them saying a player from a major region is good or amazing.
How about this then?
Hi.
For the group, Koala is okay. I will say that.
There, okay.
Oh my goodness. Warren is the semantic. Okay. Your name should be woo semantic King Ring.
Okay, listen.
Because Koala is come on. Once we go to the RNG versus CFO, come on. Ming just literally.
I'm not saying that. I'm just
shut the hell up.
You love your semantics, you fucking bastard.
At least I'm rooting for a team that's good. So.
Oh my God. So this game maybe would have went 100 Thieves' favor if he landed his bandage toss. Closer cannot land an ultimate to save his life. He hasn't landed. Has he landed a Poppy ult that's actually meaningful? I didn't see him land shit.
He's on Sejuani.
He didn't land any ults this game either. His ulting on Sedge and Poppy and the other champion he played, all bad. Abadage is just trying to get his Oopensschlagen up his ass because I don't know what the fuck he's doing in these games.
What's the Oopensschlagen?
That's what these Germans talk about their Oopensschlagen.
He's not German. What are you talking?
He's German, actually. He's German.
I thought he was Danish.
That's Power of Evil. You fucking crazy bastard.
No, Power of Evil is German. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, Bjergsen is Danish, and so is Jensen. But Abadage is playing like shit. Who he's playing, the whole team's playing like shit except for like Someday. There's nothing Someday can do, guys. It's not a carry top lane meta. There's nothing he can do. You're carrying.
Is a carry top lane meta. What are you talking about?
Not for the way he plays the game. This man plays carry top lane meta like his fucking tanks.
Like Aatrox is pick ban, Jax is pick ban, Fiora is pick ban. What are you talking about?
Well, what I'm saying is he can't get a sizable lead amountable enough to make a difference because this team is not that good. Also, he's on Fiora, and you kind of need to be ahead very early on to make Fiora work for split pushing. Also, you can't make Fiora work right in this opposition because he didn't do that. It wasn't like he didn't do well this game. It was more like their team was so far behind, Fiora can't actually split push and get anything done. Also, this game, what's his name? Schwan? I can't forget his name. Shun did very well on Kaisa. He did very well. Also, having to help this fucking Australian kangaroo fuckers just feeding him kills and shit. But yeah, 100 Thieves might look like the worst NA team at Worlds, non-barring Cloud9. I don't know.
No, they are the worst.
They're just getting on stage, drafting, playing, losing, and getting off.
Listen, they're just collecting paychecks.
When does the I want you guys to answer me this watching now. When does the LCS play? Can someone answer me that? When does the LCS play?
January. 30th.
Again, listen, if they didn't have a head coach on crack and actually drafted well and had a good game plan in the coaching staff, again, Cloud9 would be at least 1-2, and then it would just depend on if EDG start playing as not good as we thought they might have, coming into Worlds for them to make it out or not. But since they have a head coach on crack and can't draft for shit, they're fucked. And then 100 Thieves is just the worst team. This is why I was laughing when they were, cheering with the draw, because I'm like, you guys are literally the worst team heading into Worlds. So, no, you're still fucked either way. And plus, you have RNG coming in.
This is going to be a hot take.
I hate you so much.
At this point, I think CLG and TSM would be better than Cloud.
CLG would be better than 100 Thieves.
CLG, I will give you. TSM, hell no. Please no.
They took EG to 3 games. What are you talking about?
Vika also went 0-10 against Jose Diodo. He wanted to face off against Ming and fucking Wei.
Listen.
Well, I would say that TSM would make the games more competitive just because.
Yeah, competitive for the fucking trash can.
Just because of their hard-nosed play style.
Yeah,
but they would still go 0-6, sorry.
Reginald will get on stage and go, hey guys, fuck off. Don't lose to these top ramen lickers.
We can agree that
Reginald would deport them to Russia.
Okay, but we can agree that CLG might have done better than
Probably.
This was a hilarious fucking game by Joe.
Okay, so
let's make sure we know this. G2 has beaten EG 7 times.
So you know what the problem with this draft is? Why
they walked on stage and started playing?
I don't mind the set pick, right? The thing is, keep set. So can you go to the draft of this first?
When they did the actual pick and bans?
Yeah, pick and ban.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, so pause it right here. They have the opportunity to pick. You flex Maokai, right? They last pick Fiora. So I'm confused here, right? So
I think they should have picked Jarvan instead.
I think if you're gonna go this draft, right? All right, and you went Aphelios, then why not go? If you're gonna go Kench, I would have took Ziggs here over Varus.
They were going for an all-in poke comp with Nidalee getting far ahead. That's what they're trying to hope for.
Nidalee's a bad pick. Like I would
have. The problem is they're not good enough as a team to play that kind of composition.
Well,
they're just not.
Here's where the comp. Like to me, I think Gragas is a sleeper. Why do I say Gragas is a sleeper? Gragas can be flexed mid, top. No, I'm sorry, jungle, top, and support if you're good. And also, Gragas does a lot of. Gragas is easier to execute than Nidalee. I guarantee if Inspired was on Gragas, this game.
Right. He played Hecarim against JDG. He looked really good against Kanavi. Just Kanavi's team is just better. Why not try to run that back again? Why not play Hecarim again? Why not run that back?
I think the Varus pick is not good here. I mean, the Varus pick is fine. I think that the problem is that if you're having set mid, then why not put. The problem is, I think
it's Gank. This Gank's the one that really blew game open. He lost his flash. He got ganked on. It's just nothing you do right here.
Here's how you can fix this draft. You either put Impact on his Vladimir because he has a good Vladimir. Have Inspired play Maokai because when he played Maokai during the play-ins, he was pretty good. And then the comp is actually you have Vladimir that's late game scaling. Who the hell's gonna kill a Vladimir? Like you're gonna have to be. Like he's gonna have Zonias, he's gonna have his W, and he's gonna have Kench. So like, how are you killing the Vladimir? So I have to agree. I think they're not playing to these. Like, why are you picking Nidalee? Like,
I get why they're.
Or you don't even go Nidalee. You go Lilia. Lilia is a good pick here.
Because my thing here is their type of team is not the type of comp that I see them playing. That makes sense. These
comp
players
was fine. The Nidalee pick was the problem.
The players cannot execute on this kind of comp.
This comp is easy. Come on, man. Like the problem is the Nidalee.
I'm just saying, man.
The comp was not the problem. The problem is that if you're gonna go this, right?
Also, it doesn't help that their bot lane lost this game. Jojo Pion didn't play very well.
I think if you have Lilia here instead, who can clear very fast, has a good R, she scales, and does good. Like I'm saying, you need it easier to execute. Like, the thing about Lilia and Gragas, right, is that ults can deter people. Like, if she hits them with the ball, they sleep. Gragas can cast people away and disengage. So you have a way of setting yourself up. Like, this draft just doesn't, like, I don't have a problem with the set mid. The problem I have is the Nidalee, or you go an or you have to go an AP bot. I don't know who you play AP bot though. That's the weird one for me.
My thing here is I got the idea about what this comp is trying to do. The problem here is don't think the players can execute it very well. Also, the game just got way too out of hand. Jojo Pion got ganked early on, lost his flash. You can't challenge the Sylas after that. Well, what also really hurts EG's comp is the Sylas pick, because the Sylas pick is going to steal all their ultimates and then obviously one-shot most of them. Nidalee's not going to be able to do anything later on in the game. So after that, that was EG versus G2, guys. EG losing to G2 7 times. So if anyone says NA is better than EU this year after EG beat Mad Lions, is still smoking crack. Yep, that is horrible. Then we had one of the marquee matchups of the week.
Sorry, what did you say? Say who is better?
No, I was saying that if people think that EU is worse than NA after seeing these games, you're
well, no, nobody said that, but they're just saying, it's not like they aren't in the same boat as like Rogue is just doing this well because they're in a group with fucking a minor region team and DRX.
I swear, what's the other EU team at work? Oh, G2. Yeah, I forgot. G2 also pretty hard.
Yes, and then G2's getting their ass kicked, and then Fnatic should hopefully get their ass kicked. They just got those 2 wins from literally luck draft. But so yeah, I mean, this game because of their group, but yeah,
this game, T1 just outdrafted EDG, and EDG just got outscaled. That's all this game pretty much amounted to. They started at this dragon fight. Faker on Akali is just insane. Actually, Viper got the first blood, but it really didn't matter. They were most likely.
Why do they keep giving teams Akali? It's so OP.
Why are they giving fucking? I don't know why they gave T1 Sivir and Yuumi. That's ridiculous. Scout. There was a part of the game where Scout threw Faker on top of one of his teammates.
Yep. Jesus Christ. So yeah, so this is the only way Team 1 is gonna win Worlds, if they basically just get lucky like this, like EDG did last year, where their teams just give them all the best champs and then they just, outskill them instead of actually how they're playing, which is not good and not adapting well.
Also, I don't know what is it with teams now at Worlds that are like giving up like 4 power picks and then going like, yeah, our draft was bad. No shit, Sherlock. I don't know if giving up 4 power picks is really going to be benefiting you. Like, what is that? Then,
well, EDG, listen, they're just taking strats from Max Waldo,
EDG tries to start a Rift Herald. I really don't know why they're starting Rift Herald, but the also with this game is no one even notices. Owner was like 0-4 in this game. He made plays, but it wasn't really anything that great.
I mean, so what was Vi? Oh my god! So what was Viper JJ supposed to like do against Yuumi when they try to go in?
Yeah, like what are you supposed to do? Okay, this. Oh no! Why Scout?
Yeah,
what are you doing?
And Ornn as well, and even fucking the Scout Tunic. Like all these champs are kind of useless with going in when by just like a well-timed Yuumi ult, basically.
Mm-hmm. Because if Azir shuffles in and tries to shift people, I don't know what Scout. I don't know what the fuck that was for. Man just killed his own teammate.
Yeah. Like the only way for this to work is you have to like have half of your team flanking them. You can't just fight head on like that, and they fought head on every single time.
Even when they were behind, JJ didn't play the Vi pick out well. He just kept kind of running front straight in. It's like right there, you can't. Why are you doing? You cannot do that. What is this? I mean, T1, credit to them, they played well this game. They drafted better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, EDG's junglers have not been doing well at all. And you guys were shitting on DRX's junglers, but I actually think both of them have been solid.
Piosik and Busan, right? That's their names?
Well, yeah, Piosik and Juhan.
Yeah. Juju Tamin Yamin.
Yeah, Yuhan or whatever. But yeah, I think they've been not good, but solid at least, solid rocks. But like JJ and like their other sub-jungler, like, I just don't think they've been good.
If someone said EDG doesn't make it out of group stage, I wouldn't I wouldn't put it past you.
Well, they shouldn't, but
like this game, I was sitting there going like, oh, okay, I don't think this is the EDG reigning world champions that people were probably hoping for. Just saying. T1 did lose to Fnatic, but they did end up beating Cloud9 pretty dominant fashion. That was just disgusting to see. Scout got a nice little one-on-one kill against Faker. It didn't matter. They were going to lose this game by far anyway.
Yeah.
Now you have 100 Thieves versus Gen G. Now this, I don't know what the fuck I was watching here. What the hell am I watching in this game? Someday on Aatrox trying his best to give his team some type of advantage. They took Talia, right? Abadage opted into picking Talia, okay, guys, and then he didn't do anything that Talia is supposed to do. Roam around the map, set up your walls, get dragons, get Rift Herald, make sure you do your Talia ultimates in a certain way where it cuts off the enemy opposition so you can't get close to fighting. Yeah, just like that. I wish they could have did that more. They did this 11 minutes into the game, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, this is kind of what this comp should be doing. They're kind of going toe-to-toe with Gen G. The problem here is that watching a lot of these games, if you're in a spectator mode like we are, a lot of these games just feel so hopeless. Like, because the Eastern team, their Asian team is never in a position to lose because the NA teams don't push their leads very well. Even when they're kind of ahead, they're too scared to make any more plays. It's just so confusing. Then in this game, opting in for Talia and never ever utilizing her to whatever you thought you need to utilize her for, it's just ridiculous. Doran's flanking in this game on Camille was insane, actually.
I think the Talia should have been flexed to jungle.
I just don't understand the Talia pick. Why do you pick Talia?
I think you pick Talia first. Or you pick Talia, they probably gonna match it and see it, and then you can flex. You can decide whether you can go jungle and switch it up. So far, if you've noticed, every NA team has picked MF and they haven't won.
Well, they haven't won on anything. To be fair.
But the thing is like, if you're gonna play, like, who's your late game on the side of, like, you need a good MF all, right?
Late game, you have Leona.
Okay, you're an idiot.
Hey, man, who he was trying to get them out of this game as quickly as he can. Okay, so look at this Dragonfly right here. They have an Aatrox. They have an MF. They have a Leona and still got it stolen by a Trundle who has to flash in and steal it.
Look at their health bars, though. Like,
yeah, and that's the thing I was going to say, too. They shouldn't even started the Dragon up. But to be fair, if they don't start it up, Gen G will just take it. It's one of these weird things where you can't also give it to them either because they were stacking dragons well, too. And then Gen G make a mistake. Well, to be fair, Chovy should have just left. I don't know why he was still there. He ends up getting killed. This is the part of the game that they actually were winning in. But then after this, I want to show you guys the levels of maybe these guys. I'm not match fixing, but what's that thing? Or what's that Twitch meme? Check your PayPal account. Maybe look at this shit. They're all disjointed, and who he is sitting there going to himself, you know what? Leroy Jenkins, I'm going in. Yeah, I'm gonna get that Leona ultimate on you. And misses his whole Leona ultimate. Man was like Leroy Jenkins and missed. Just, I don't know what the goal of their comp is. Like, I want you guys to see how bad this is. They're all disjointed. They can't win this fight anyway. Who he's like, I'll just go in. I'll just throw my ultimate. And I'll just get butt fucked. I'll just take my fucking fist up the ass.
I got a hot take for you right now. I bet you if SK and Astralis were here, they would be better than the NA teams.
I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Leave me alone.
Cole,
leave me alone.
Tell me I'm wrong that Astralis or SK would have done better.
Did the Chachi at Worlds? Oh, Lord. Oh, hell.
Astralis would have done better than 100 Thieves, yeah.
He's not even trolling.
This is just all bad. Like, I don't know what to think about 100. It's not about what to think about 100 Thieves. It's more like they're not even trying. There's no way you're going to tell me your support is doing this and he's trying. There's no way you're going to tell me that with a straight face. He wasn't playing that bad. He just had to engage. He had to engage in a disjointed team fight. Why not wait and then do it when you're more in an advantageous position?
MSK, I have a question for you because we're
Please
just
fuck me in my ass.
We're just going to go into the same like song and dance because these games are just
These are depressing to look at.
What should NA? So the real question we should ask each other is really
Yes.
after this Worlds, what should NA do? Like we look at the teams and we say, what should NA do? Because there's no way you go back and there's not big
They
changes.
should drop. Okay, this will probably never happen, but okay. Well, first step is they need to literally like what EU, even though they took it to an extreme and were actually just like them borderline fucking hateful to like anyone who's just not born in EU. They need to drop every fucking lower tier import. Literally every Power of Evil, all of them. Just drop them off to a fucking island in Africa for all I give a shit about. Just get them the hell out of here. All right? And just grow a better system under it. That's the only way this will ever improve. And whether it does or not, who knows? Mm-hmm. But that's literally the only way. The only imports they should still have in the league right now are the imports that are like top 4 in their roles right now. Everyone, even like the 5th best, like Maple, should get the fuck out. It's the only way for them to improve. And also, somebody on Twitter brought up a good point. I honestly just like I usually don't care where players are from. I don't like I had that whole speech on here before in one stream, but all right, but it takes it to a whole other level though when like 2 of the teams at Worlds or like have like 0 NA players, and then the other third has like 2 NA players. Like I honestly just makes me like not even care at this point. It's like I don't really care where you're from, as I said before, but like to have like no NA players on your team, like that's taking it to a whole other level. Like I don't even feel any passion for wanting to cheer you on.
The thing is, right? Like, the only 2, if Danny was, because Kiori is a TCL import, so if Danny, let's say Danny was at Worlds, right? They would have only had 2 imports on the team because of.
Yeah, it would have been easier to cheer for. And again, also, EG is the one team that has actually been drafting well out of the 3 NA teams and have actually had good strategies in game. It's just their skill level wasn't as good as like Cloud9's in summer. So I mean, if they swap the drafts and play styles, Cloud9 would be in a better position.
Oh, you're saying EG Gen X? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, fuck off. No, Gen X is gonna go to like fucking like CLG or something.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot if you really think that.
There's a twofold thing to look at it here, right? So we know that
I think Impact retires this year, though.
You said that last year.
No, he's you
said about Hillsang too, last year.
No, but
year before that too. You said that.
Why if Hillsang was playing bad, Rux would have came in.
Okay,
Hillsang does need to retire, but Impact now he'll keep playing.
My thing here about what you said is it all depends on what the LCS is looking to do, right? Because we've been hearing rumors. I'm pretty sure you guys have been on Twitter enough to hear the rumors that the LCS teams themselves might be cutting back on their budgets, right? So wouldn't it be a really good opportunity to use it as a cover up to go, whoa, we're not doing too well at Worlds, for the foreseeable future. Why not just cut our budgets on just various things while running our LCS teams actually? Even if Cloud9, let's just say hypothetically, Cloud9 makes it out. Let's say hypothetically they do. They get 3 wins or 4 wins because you have to get 4 wins to make it out, or at least 3, right? Let's say get 3 or 4 wins, and let's say that 100 Thieves and EG go like 6 more wins, right? So they lose 6 more games, right? So and it would go a combined total of 3 and 15. That would still be pretty bad, but they would go like, okay, it's just Cloud9 that only does well for NA at Worlds. Usually, we're not that good. We definitely have to cut back on our spending, whether that be coaching staff, imports, whatever, player salaries. They might implement a salary cap. I don't think they're ever going to do that. But I don't know what really happens, because the thing here is that even if the NA teams like EG or 100 Thieves go 2-4, then people will still be like, wait a minute, didn't you get your asses blown out in week 1? That's what's going to happen too. Like if the teams go 2-4, or even Cloud9, what if they go 2-4? They'll be like, well, we still got some wins. Yeah, but I'm not about to forget you getting completely demolished in week 1. No one's going to forget that. Like, right now, most of the LCS fans that I've seen so far are like rooting that NA goes 0-18, right? Because what would you rather have? To go 0-18 or go like 3-15 or whatever, right? I just don't know. But I do think
I want Cloud9 to at least win one game because I don't want another bad look with the fucking first seed who also shouldn't have even been to Worlds. And yeah, they shouldn't have even been the Worlds in the first. Well, we talked enough about that, Reagan. But either way, that was a horrible look. Let's not have that. Even the LMS, they never had a first seed go 0-6 like J Team and all them. They won games at least.
Yeah, like even the years that the LMS went like negative record, they at least won a game.
Yeah, so every other seed went 0-6, but the first seed always at least won 2 games.
So my thing here is the LCS team owners could use this as a cover-up, kinda, to maybe slash their budgets, change how they go about, making rosters for 2023. You're gonna have teams bullshitting people, saying things like, it's time to build NA talent, all that other fucking horse shit. It's like, it's one of these things where even people need to understand this too. It doesn't really matter if you want to build NA talent. Talent's not good enough. It doesn't really matter either. But you're still gonna get smacked around.
Well, as much as I think CLG. I thought CLG was a fraud, but they were still kind of a fraud. But let's say if CLG makes the run, they're an NA team. I don't think they have any imports.
I think their ADC? I forgot his name. He's an import. I think, right? I'm pretty sure he's not from NA. But my thing here is like people want the NA talent, but it's like it's more deeper than just talent. You need to understand. Like League's not as popular here as it is in other places. Not a lot of people play as much as they used to. People that factor in the solo queue here is really bad. Remember all those horror stories we were hearing about Faker getting trolled and all that other shit? Even Inspired said
it's the ping. It's not it's the ping.
It's a combination of a lot of different things. Ping is solo queue was definitely not good. Every pro player said that's definitely not good.
The thing is, you can't really. The reason I say you can't say that is because when the NA players go in boot camp, they still hit Challenger over in KR or EOS.
Yeah, but
so it's not the solo. You can't really, because if it was like, oh, they go to KR and they're like hard stuff master, then it's like, okay, then there's a problem. There's literally a problem, right? But they're not. They're getting Challenger, so it's not. It can't. There has to be. I think we just. It's like I was telling you yesterday. We need to start having like more of these like if you've been noticing, like colleges are now recruiting kids for League of Legends teams that like for scholarships. Like they need to promote League at these high schools like at 14 and say, hey, if you're a challenger, we'll give you a scholarship, but you have to maintain your grades or whatever, yada yada yada.
But here's the other thing with that too, dude, is even if they do that, we know there's big nepotism in the LCS itself, right? So these players, let's just say they are good, they're not going to be getting on these rosters too. We know the NA teams are going to feed the fucking public bullshit about imports, right? Or talent. And they're still not going to promote them.
But like, think about, remember, Tactical, Johnson, Speaker all came from TSM Academy. Whether we like it or not, like whether people like it or not, right? So, and Tactical did do pretty good at Worlds for those that bit there, even though he basically.
Two of them have kind of flunked Warren, and they did go to other academy teams for like a year before LCS. So
but I'm saying like,
so Speak Up was in Echo Fox Academy for like 2 years, so.
Right, but he's like 20. He's not like 27.
Yes, but nonetheless, like I don't know if we give him full credit and with the other players they've developed.
But what I'm saying is that there is talent there. The problem is we need to work on our talent, like, because I'm sure that there's more players out there that are like Danny,
No, yeah, for sure. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that the LCS teams are not always going to give those players chances to play. They would most likely prioritize a really good potential import player over that player first.
And we need to stop that because we're never going to improve otherwise.
And that's the thing, though. You guys know me. I don't care.
Unless you can get a top import like Perks that 1 year, I would not bother anymore. Stop getting players like fucking like even though it's kind of working out right now, finally, stop getting players like Wonder if they're available who are like kind of washed now. Like stop it. Either get players who are like at their peak right now that are excellent, like inspired, or don't get any at all. Don't get guys like Jizuke.
Hey, he picked it up toward the latter end when he was here.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised he didn't get like no. LEC team gave him a chance over some of the dog shit mids they had when he played.
It's crazy how he hasn't had a team. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, he's on Giants in the European League.
Again? That's where he came from originally, was Giants, actually. Yeah. Well, that's my thing here. It's a combination of a lot of things. There's the NA players themselves, the size of the server, the solo queue, the ping. There's a lot of things. And they did kind of bridge that now with Champions Queue. My thing here is LCS owners will always prioritize a player with high name value and might be an import over the NA talent. Maybe Team Liquid tries to be a little bit more different than that coming into 2023. But I just don't see it unless I see actual difference, unless I see some actual like change in how that kind of structure works. I'm just not going to believe it. Because I mean, that's not a bad thing developing good NA players, because if you get good NA players, then you can utilize your import slots for other players that you know that NA is lacking in. We know NA lacks in potentially junglers and supports. So you can use your import slots for those places, but you need to also have good NA players potentially for AD carries, tops, and mids. NA mids, I don't know if you really want to go there. NA mid, I mean, I'd say mid and jungler are probably our weakest roles holistically. Like a lot of how these teams always did well at Worlds is always based around their jungler. The junglers are really good. Even the bad caliber junglers from world standards, they're so much more better than what the LCS junglers have ever produced, though. You know? So that's just me personally.
Yeah, I mean, when fucking JJ gaps you, it's an issue.
Yeah.
God, also, this Giants team is like the fucking old men fucked by orgs team. Jesus Christ. The Antonio, Max, Lord, Jizuke.
I have a Doublelift video right here.
Jizuke, Attila, Advi, and Jesus Christ, that team.
Doublelift on NA's abysmal performance and how to solve it. He was part of the reason!
Yes, exactly. It's just like when Reginald's like, hey, we made it out of groups many times. Like, who did that?
Remember how he did that chart that one time he says, yeah, we always make it out of groups. Not your team. That was not your team. That was not your org either.
Holy fuck. Also, did you see the reaction to this, man? Like, not shaking the hands of the
Doublelift does realize that he's one of the main reasons why NA's performance in the world.
He literally is. He never made it out of groups in a single Worlds. All right, he's basically a legacy of a failure, you can say. Actually,
oh my goodness,
it was always just toxic as fuck, and his teams never improved around him because he was always stubborn about play upgrades getting subbed in, like players like fucking Core JJ coming. Like he literally said, "Oh, I wanted to keep Pobel, Ole, all them. I didn't want Jensen and Core JJ." It's like, are you high?
He also advocated for Brock. I mean, I didn't mind that he advocated for Broxah because I thought Xmithy just wasn't that good on a world level.
I mean, yeah, they needed to replace Xmithy at that point, but even if he was still all right, but I mean, Broxah was literally just he was a Lee Sin one trick then, and he always was, and he wasn't even a good Lee Sin trick. He was the most overrated jungler in EU.
Yeah, I just like having Sneaky here is fine because Sneaky's did well at Worlds. It's crazy how Double has someone who did better than him at Worlds here as he's talking about how NA's
performance. Yeah, Medios there.
Yeah, it's like Medios also has made it on more group stages than Double has.
Yeah. And like seriously, the only reason why people rank him as an ADC ahead of Sneaky is just because of the gap. Well, it's just because of the gap domestically, because not just with accomplishments like awards and stuff, because I don't give a fuck about that because the voters are idiots, but just skill wise, he clearly like gapped Sneaky in a lot of games skill wise, just like mid to late into their careers. But still, like, this is, if we're just going off of like achievements and not voted on by stupid LCS voters who don't watch the games, yeah, this is sad.
Like, it's just crazy. Like, I don't mind Double If people. I mean, it's just like, it's just super ironic that Double If of all people is talking about.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the thing.
The
I like watching Double If streams. He's entertaining. I like him as a, you know,
you like looking at his girlfriend, you sick fuck.
Wait, what?
You like looking at his girlfriend, you sick fuck.
What the fuck? I haven't even seen her on stream once. Are you? Jesus Christ!
Yeah, she was under the table. She was under the table sucking him off.
Not even that good looking, man. What are you talking about?
She was under the table.
Okay, but anyway, I like his streams. I like his personality. You know, he's done some toxic.
Can you play the clip, motherfucker?
Yes,
I forgive him. All right, but the problem with Double If, though, I'll just say this quickly, and then you can play the clip. Is that every once in a while, though, it's like it's like he has like bipolar disorder. He'll then just randomly be like, "Oh, fuck NA, these pastors. I give up all hope on this region." And when most of it is his own fault, just like, "Ah, fuck them." And then the next day, yeah, go NA. It's like, this guy has bipolar disorder. This guy LS, fucking, I will dominate. They need some fucking help. Holy shit.
I mean, who cares about Worlds anyways? How many times have these randoms RNG won LCS? 0. 100 Thieves, 1 title. Royal never give up. More like Royal never get any LCS trophies. Boom.
So funny.
Cope in a healthy way, boys. Look at the bright side. We are glass half full kind of people over here. I think the discussion about like why, like, you know, that what's even the point and like why are we even trying? It's just so terrible.
Why is who try?
I love how people brought up the import rule. Okay, guys, the thing is not about the players. You get the import because you think the import players are better than the homegrown native talent, right? Now, that's not a bad thing holistically. Like, the way the LPL uses them is actually really good. You build up your native talent, then you bring in the imports to make it better. I don't think these imports are as bad as everyone says they are. I don't believe all of them are that bad.
Wrong. Most LPL teams are majority Chinese.
But when they do put in imports, they're using
it's like only 1 or 2. It's like 1 max.
Yeah. We also want NA teams in that second one. But my thing here is to think that all the imports are bad is ridiculous. It's the way, not only just the way the team utilizes the player itself. Like, we'll look at TSM, for example. Sven was shitty on TSM. He left TSM and has now won 3 titles. Was Sven bad or was TSM bad for how they utilized him? I don't know.
But
yeah, it's like a think domestic titles because at the end of the day, everyone loves competition, and it's a dream to be able to even play at Worlds, even to just get your face caved in by the better teams. It's like, actually, that's the whole point of competition, like to play against strong opponents and like learn and get better, get fucked, get farmed for Reddit karma, get beamed on by a bunch of edgy commentators on Twitch.
Yeah, but what about spending millions of dollars?
Oh yeah, spending a fuck ton of money. I mean, I think the bubble is collapsing, right? Like, I don't think that there's gonna be like crazy high overpaid salaries anymore. But I mean, esports is a business. It's an entertainment business. That's all it is. What they're selling is like the contracts are sustained by the amount of sponsorships that they can sell off of it. I think the fact that NA does really poorly at Worlds does contribute to the decline in league fans in America, which will contribute to the decline of high salaries, right? Like,
that's a part of it too. Like, if NA doesn't perform very well at Worlds, you think it's a long sustained over period of time of performances at the World Championships. Yeah, most NA fans are gonna go, what's the point of watching? That is gonna be a sentiment.
Eventually, it will probably reach a point where if NA just, we're 12 years in, but
I hope you can hear me loud.
Raid Shadow Legends, hell yeah. Or a monkey.
If it continues to get worse and worse and worse, and League becomes like less and less popular for a multitude of reasons, including that, then yeah, there won't be that many millions to go around.
You would think so. But then it just somehow has been going up every year.
I don't think it's going up anymore. I think the bubble has already bursted.
I mean, Perks was legit just last year.
Yeah, that's true.
But,
that's true. Perks
and what an idiot. This guy brought up a point, said it was happening, then fucking Double If, please, mercy on my soul, dude.
Dropped, but
and Sword Art was the year before. before that. So.
No, he's fucking last year. You fucking moron.
But last year there was like a little bit of hopium with C9 making it out of groups. I'm trying
Well, there wasn't, because when they were gonna face off against Gen G, which is like, I didn't really think they were gonna beat Gen G. I don't think anyone did really.
I think the year before that, I don't think any NA team made it out of groups.
2020?
2020, no.
Yeah,
they all failed.
I don't think anyone did.
They at least got wins though. They did get wins.
Quest, TSM, and
TL.
TL. Yeah, no one made it out. Yeah, the TL this year definitely finished bursting the bubble. I think there's a difference between paying $7 million to show your face at Worlds and then lose versus paying $7 million to not even make it to Worlds, let alone win LCS.
I mean, I just think it's weird. Like 2018, even 2017, like we were actually progressing in terms of results, but then now it's like reversing.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Literally, I almost beat WE in the best of 5. Like, we were actually so fucking close.
Yeah, that's true. Cloud9 almost made top 4 at Worlds twice, actually. It's crazy.
2017.
Yeah, I mean, you made it insanely far.
Yeah, and then we beat fucking Africa, Rio, smashed them asses. 2019, didn't make it out of the groups because couldn't beat G2 or fucking Griffin.
I think you need certain teams to elevate the region, and in NA, I mean, in every single region, the rosters get shuffled around a lot. But like, in my opinion, without G2, I don't think Europe is nearly as strong as they are today.
Like without them existing.
Well, Fnatic also made World Finals too, but
before.
I do agree with that. It's a lot of about it's G2.
Those like 2 to 3 years of G2 just having crazy international results and just fucking just being insane, and like Perks roll swap 80 carry and then made all the way MSI champions going to Worlds. And I think, was that the year that they made it to finals, or was it the year before? Like Fnatic too. Yeah, I mean, but I don't know.
That was the year, because 2018 Fnatic was in finals.
Yeah, I mean, I think, fine. Maybe I'm not giving credit to Fnatic, but like, I think like those two teams they're just too fucking good. And everyone who watched them play and everyone who played against them had like so much to get out of it. I feel like for a while in LCS, it was like, it was like C9, my team, either TL or TSM. And then I don't know, the third team was always whatever
team I'm on at the time. It's just kind of like the best.
No, but like it was like back and forth. Like it was there were like good teams at the top that were actually just like solid from top to bottom. Like they were just fucking good. I can't really say that about LCS right now. Our best team, I guess, is EG.
Seemingly, yeah.
Their top side is really strong.
Their best team is LCS team. His best team is EG, but Cloud9 won the championship. Double, if you're killing me, man.
Strong. That's all.
It's not wrong. Remember, they went 5 games.
You need to lose and have like, bad showings, but when it's like consistent across the whole region, it gets real fucking weird. Because normally it's like
to lose and have bad showings as long as you have fun.
No, like at least one team is usually doing well in some form from an A, right? But all 3 are just getting pooed on, getting dumpy. Then it's just like, okay, well, like.
Well, every team has a huge glaring weakness to them. It's
like the 3 right now, you mean?
Yeah, there are no solid teams that we've sent. Like TL almost made Worlds. They were a dumpster fire of a team. I think LCS. I actually didn't want to be the super edgy like outsider. Like, oh, what are they talking about? Salty lose, but like. There was some interviews where people are saying like LCS is the most competitive it's ever been. It's like the best form it's ever been. I think Blabber said it and a couple others said it in an interview. I was like, are you fucking coping, bro? Like,
yeah, I don't ever say shit like that. Like LCS is improving. I don't think I've ever said that ever. Like there are some splits where it looks more competitive. I can say that, but the LCS hasn't improved in many years, actually. I mean, some players have gotten better. Some players have came in that are a lot better. I mean, things have changed, but yeah, the LCS has always kind of been a bit better or maybe a bit worse, depending on how you look at it.
There's no universe that's true.
I remember some quote about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even when EG with Danny was popping off, like everyone was really hype on them, and it's like Danny cannot lane. Like, do we not like? Do we just not value laning phase anymore?
Yeah, Danny didn't lane very well, and he also wouldn't have. He didn't lane where what MSI 2022
Has
either.
more pentakills than this fool.
I doubt it. No way. I mean, you might be right, honestly, but yeah, the thing here
actually got out of an MSI group as well. So
they both did. They're both evil. They both got out of one MSI group.
It's like he's done more than already in his first year than he did in his 9-year career. He needs to shut the hell up and eat some egg roll.
Yeah, because that's the thing people don't understand is but everyone said that about Danny though. Everyone said that Danny's laning phase is not good, right? And when he goes to international competition against better laners, he's going to get destroyed. And that happened. That shouldn't be shocking
anymore. Like, we think that not being able to play lane is like an acceptable fucking weakness a team has, like an AD carry has. Like,
Yeah,
damn, our
Sneaky.
standards are shut up.
Whoa.
Sneaky actually held it down in lane against the best in the world. Like, that's the thing. Like, we're just watching these games, and like the laning skill difference is so big that there will just be like counter pick fudge fucking against Aatrox, and he's down 30 at 10 minutes.
Yeah, also a lot of these teams are opting into counter picks and losing. And not being ahead in CS. That C9 versus T1 game was all
but you
laning
see,
phase
if
gaps.
they had Genax, as Warren said,
Oh
they
yeah,
would
for
be
sure.
doing
Yeah,
better,
and Vizichachi. Vizichachi ADC and Genax top.
Listen. Gen X is gonna go on a good team, and I'm still gonna root for him. So
I'd rather I'd rather. I love how Treats actually was really carrying him,
Laning
and
isn't
Warren's like
every
Genax.
All right.
what?
He's literally a War's help forward. Laning isn't everything. I'm sorry, Warren.
No, he's actually better. He actually does.
Okay, all right, Warren.
Well-
Look at me in my face right now. Tell me to my face if we're picking a team, you fucking black bastard. You have Treats, a free agent, and you have Gen X. Who are you picking?
I'm picking Gen X, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because support fluctuates more than top. Top has a lot. Like, a support can be 0-15, but if your top is diversify and champ pools and other
I'm
things,
sure Mickey
then,
X showed it.
They're doing great.
let's be honest. XL doesn't have a superstar. Let's
Luca's a superstar, right?
stop it.
I'm saying you
Stop
thought
it.
I was insulted Gen X or something when I said CLG.
No, I know you're not. I know.
What they use Dokla for is exactly what they should use Gen X for, and he has good laning stats. So that isn't an insult. He would just be a good fit, and CLG
No, I'm not
almost
saying
made worlds.
I'm not saying he's a superstar. That's not what I'm saying. But he's at least above average top laner. He's not. I'm not saying he's
He would be a bit better than the LCS top laners we have.
He's way better than a lot of LCS top laners. That's what I'm saying.
Chaz said, Cloud9 winning and looking like this means nothing now. Yeah. Because people understand this. So a team could look good at a certain period point in time versus looking good at something else. C9 got hot at the right time, but looked like they peaked. EG was the best team, but fell apart at the end. And 100 Thieves was the most consistent team. Yeah. It's a lot of that too. C9 did play a whole lot better. Could people watch C9 in the actual best of ones in the LCS? They look like shit. They look like shit for a little bit there, So we got to factor in, if they look like shit in BO1s, how's it going to look? So how would they, if they are not looking good in BO1s in the LCS, how would that look if they play BO1s against better teams?
Yeah, well, you see, it's almost like you can't get away with these garbage drafts when you're playing against teams better than 100 Thieves.
That is
So
true.
I'm sorry, even in all those games, besides one out of all 12 in the playoffs, they were drafting like fucking apes. I'm sorry, they were. All right, but they were picking a fucking Zillion into that Silas comp against 100 Thieves or EG.
Yeah, they don't pick Zillion now. They don't pick Zillion.
That's the dumbest thing you could possibly do. They picked Zillion when he was getting countered by 4 different champs, and he still kicked their ass in LCS. So is that Cloud9 being that good, or is it just or is that just NA being so bad right now?
It's just, I don't know. In other years, that just wouldn't happen. Can you just survive out of early game, not just fucking try to limp across?
I mean, it's also partially if you're gonna get shit on lane, you have to make up for it somewhere else. But that really hasn't been the case.
Define getting
with
shit on,
these
because
games.
I don't think no matter how good you are, you're going to out team fight the best in the world. These are the top 16 teams in the whole world.
It's not necessarily out team fight. It's more like outplay them in other ways, like, you know, being in spots they don't expect, being in just good positions, holding your ground, like those types of things, like just good gameplay, not necessarily winning a team fight. Because I mean, they might just be too good for team fights, and you can avoid those in some way. I mean, like, you know,
winning without team fighting, I feel like that's never been a real strat.
No, but like you get picks before a team fight.
How was Double Lift talking to Sneaky, who made top 4 at Worlds? What the fuck? What the hell?
You make the team fights really awkward for them.
Yeah.
You hold choke points.
Yeah.
Like you hold advantage situations for your team, and you don't give them up.
I would say the number one thing that is lacking from the NA teams at Worlds right now that is just so obvious to see is we can't lane. Our bot lanes are just getting run over. Every single game I'm watching the
Also, there's not a support player playing support against the best supports in the world. Factor this in, guys. Sen, as a role swap support, has to play against Kyria, Hylissang, and what's his name? He has to play against Scout, Hylissang, and Kyria. Yeah, no matter how well he plays support as a role sub player, he's not a support. Definitely not a good support compared to those guys.
CS bot lanes sit under their turret, screaming for dear life. Like they either forgot how to lane by losing too many scrims, or they just don't know the matchup, don't have the right champion pools. Like, I don't know what it is.
And A just needs to play cheesy ass champs who can like break the rules of the game, like champs that are hard to punish in lane, just the easy shit, and then just try to.
But that's MF.
Yeah, I think MF's good for it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I saw the games where like we are picking MF, Berserker or FBI is like playing MF, and like the champ is a crutch. She's so bad outside of lane, but you pick her because you have no confidence in your laning. I think like the best analog for it is like there's like a difference between when I see LCS teams picking MF and then I see Rogue picking Kalista. Because like when Rogue picks Kalista, the enemy bot lane cannot breathe.
Yeah, that's the thing. Rogue has actually been very good at trying out different ADCs. Comp pulling out Kalista has worked out very well for them. I mean, Comp and Trimby look like one of the more better bot lanes at Worlds, actually.
But when we pick MF, it's like we're up 10 CS. They're both like lane dominant champs that fall off later, but it's just weird. I think early game always is like the biggest slap in the face.
Yeah, I mean, that's hard to get around. Like, I don't feel like I don't want to repeat it every conversation, but like the player base size and the ping for solo queue, I think are like really things that like there's no workaround. Like you're just like, how do you get better at laning phase? Like in Korea, you have fucking so many good players. Everyone's playing on 0 ping. Like you learn the game correctly, and then you come here and it's like,
yeah,
not that.
I think that there is actually some serious value in like just having a couple teams with that elevate everyone else. Like I think when there's
isn't the best team always doing that? When is the best team ever?
Well,
not
the best team in NA for the last year kind of has been EG. I don't think their bot lane has been teaching anyone anything about early game. I'm just talking bot lane's perspective. I mean, I'm sure JoJo has been teaching people about mid or helping them improve.
And what I'm hearing is that we need double lift. I don't know.
Dude.
What?
Finally, someone says it.
Why does everyone always tell me to shut up, dude?
Dude, come on.
Stop
That's
talking.
so triggering. Meteos does not want to be silenced. Okay. Soraka E.
Let me have a voice. Let me shitpost.
Sure, man. Sure. Whatever, dude.
Yeah, actually, one thing I will give JoJo credit for is his lane is really strong. He's been holding it down. Like, he's playing pretty well for the first 10, 15 minutes. I mean, obviously.
Also, another thing I noticed about the teams that we always send to Worlds is they just play so scared. Like, you got to give credit to EU where credit is due. They don't play scared. They'll play a comp and they play to the best of their abilities. They might still lose, but they're playing to the best of their abilities. You know, Rogue is definitely not a team that is just going to sit there and just let you wail on them. It's not going to happen. Yeah, they're still not as good as the other teams, but you got to respect it where you know, where credit is due. Like G2 is just in a bit harder of a group, so it is harder for them to show like what they can really holistically do. I do hope, as we wind this episode down, for anyone who's watching this, I do hope that Cloud9 could make it out of the group. I hope they can win games, but it's looking pretty dire right now. They have to win every single game and then hope for a tiebreaker potentially based off how the games go that day as well. As for 100 Thieves, I really don't think there's a way they get out of the group. They couldn't even beat Flying Oyster convincingly at all. They just got gapped in laning phase. They just got destroyed, actually. FBI and Huhi were hailed as one of the more better bot lanes in the LCS, and they really got completely just ransacked half the game. EG are playing the better games, kind of, but they're just not, the players just aren't good enough. Like, the players themselves are just much worse than all the other players are facing against. Like, you can do your strategy however you want it. You can play as good as you want, but if I have the better players that can play that style too and play it better, you're gonna probably not be doing so well against me.
Jesus, why is there some like fucking nude guy at my door? Jesus Christ, he's like screaming about CLG and everything. Fuck's sake.
That Reginald, because he got
I mean, he is Asian. I don't know. He keeps screaming at like this guy called Wild Turtle as well, saying it's all his fault. I don't get it.
And this is my thing. It's just because no one can really ever know the exact way it works. Is a team playing better versus a team playing bad? That's going to be a debate forever. But if you can see, if you actually watch, because you guys watch the games, if you're watching the games, it just feels so insufferable to watch the NA teams play, not from just a gameplay standpoint, but just from the fact that they're just getting defeated so hard. Like, that's not really even fun to watch. Watching the game, the Asian team is never ever in a position to lose. If they lose, you go like, oh, okay, that's pretty convincing. But
well, I mean, it just like depends.
Against the LCS, there's not a game I watched this past week where I was like, yeah, they're gonna lose. Nope, I was like, nope, they're gonna win. They walk in.
If EG was, well, if EG was in like, if they were, let's just say they won LCS this year, and they're in the state they are in right now, and they were in Rogue spot instead, and then Rogue was in Group A, then I think they would possibly make it out. But otherwise, because I do think they're better than DRX and GAM, but otherwise I don't see any area, yeah.
This thing, though, like GAM Esports, I'm being honest with you, I didn't really watch those games all the way through with GAM. It just, I don't know. Like,
sadly, I think they're starting the cap off now, like PSG did. Like they burned all their great looking years when they couldn't go to Worlds, sadly. But also, I just think like they could have beaten DRX, but they didn't. They just looked like shit. But the other two teams they can't beat. But if they were in the group 100 Thieves was in, then I mean they could like maybe upset RNG once and then beat like 100 Thieves both times, but I still don't think they would make it out. Obviously, I still think like Genji and RNG would both go like 4-2. So kind of like what Group C last year with PSG and stuff.
Dude, like even people don't understand, dude. Even last year, even though Cloud9 started 0-3, they at least took towers. They at least made the games look close. They at least made the games look competitive. Even last year against Damwon, who got second place at both international events, Cloud9 very close to beating them in a lot of times.
I know they showed that they're good enough to make it out. They at overall and at MSI and everything, they were just had the inconsistencies. And as Monte Cristo said, which I don't want to call him that thorny cocksucker, but but he said like for some fucking reason they can't play well in the same game together for some reason. But then they finally did in the last week, so they made it out. So yeah, they showed they at least could. This Cloud9 roster, they showed nothing in spring that they could. And then in summer, it was completely obvious that it was just like another TSM 2020 with them just being, lucky looking back on it now, it was just lucky that they even won LCS and they weren't going to do, shit at Worlds. I still expected more than this. So like they still should be kind of close with like Fnatic and EDG, but they just
right, yeah.
And Berserker and them should be like fucking owning Gumeyushi. But do you think Gumeyushi improved during that time? Or do you think it's just a lineup?
Oh, I think
the matchup. I
think he's playing just about as well as we thought.
I mean, I'll say Kaisa is his meta. So
I think if he gets put on champions like Kaisa and Sivir, I think he'll. That's the problem though. If he stays on champions like Kaisa and Sivir, people are gonna think he's better than he actually is. When in reality, no, he's just playing basic champions.
But also, I will say that was like another reason why they were kind of, because even though they were kind of even on paper heading into it, and I predicted them second just because Cloud9 has always exceeded our expectations. So we should start giving them the benefit of the doubt, because I'm sure we've been wrong like every time we didn't predict them to make it out. Besides 2018, but but I said before the game started, like with the meta being like Kaisa and shit now, like that's Gumayushi and Viper's best champ. So with people saying, Berserker could actually like go toe to toe with them, and he kind of has. He's been by far the best player on the team. It's not been his fault at all.
Yeah.
He's been going like 2-0 and stuff in each loss, but
Even
but still,
I know everyone talked about Danny, but I people factor in when EG picked Varus and Tom Kench with Vulcan and Kaori, they did very well against JDG's bot lane. That Danny wouldn't have did that. I'm telling you right now, Danny would not have did that at Worlds.
He could have. I mean, what do you mean?
No, he would have got his ass handed to him.
How? That was mainly like Vulcan.
Him walking on the stage. Him loading into his league account, playing a champion.
You mean he hears the crowd and then he starts having an panic attack. So then
his brain just starts fucking up. It's one of these things where, like, even with Inspired, because people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, Inspired, he can't do any. He's not carrying the team. What can Inspired do? Your bot lane is not as good as the other bot lanes. Your mid laner is just not as good as it." EG's problem is the group is not only hard, they're just not as good as the other players in the group too. G2's thing too is like the G2 players are pretty solid, but compared to like Damwon and JDG, it's looking pretty rough there. If G2 makes it out, if any of the teams that I support, G2, Gen G, RNG, and Cloud9, if they make it out, I'm glad. Well, the good thing about Gen G and RNG's group is that Gen G and RNG are in the same group, so they're not going to face each other potentially to like semifinals or the finals, actually, if they make it that far. I also think RNG is really, really strong right now. Like, RNG has played immensely good, actually. I think RNG look like probably one of the best teams at the tournament. They could definitely make a run for the finals, potentially who they make in top 8, because what it's looking like right now is RNG and Gen G make top 8, at least. But I hope G2 can get out. I mean, I did predict them not to make it out, but I hope they do. Like, given how my predictions go, guys, I do hope the teams get out. I do, but you got to be realistic in some of this shit too. But yeah, we can't do predictions tonight. I do have to head out. I got to go do something with a friend really quickly. But yeah, anything else you guys want to say before we head out? Any other things we didn't touch on, actually? I think the Worlds casting was actually pretty solid. The Worlds casting was solid.
Well, I guess NA needs to improve. That's all I can say. I don't like to see any region go, and for entertainment purposes, like if I was a person that had a ticket right now, I would be ashamed to go there as an NA person and someone, because that's just embarrassing. Like when you go to China, when you go to KR, you're gonna go and you're gonna enjoy because your team's gonna win there or EU, and that's all I gotta say. It's just embarrassing. Mm-hmm. They need to do something.
There's this one guy that put out a long paragraph that I'll read before we head out of here. Let me make sure this paragraph is a bit bigger. Too big? Set it down. The amount of excuses I see every year from NA is crazy. I can't say Riot NA cares about solo queue, but creating Champions queue for the Pro/Academy was one of the best ideas for pros. A more competitive environment with comms that mimic pro games is what every pro player should want, right? If they want to improve their game. What better environment is there? Scrims need to be scheduled, and it can't happen all the time. So Champions queue is the next best thing, right? There's a reason why Korea solo queue is considered the best there is. It is competitive and full of LPL and LCK pros. Faker still plays around 10 solo queue games a day. What excuse do these NA pros have? NA has the opportunities to grow better, but it's a fact that the pros don't care. Why do they have to try hard and work their asses off if they can do just mediocre every year and not get kicked? The whole environment of the pro scene needs to change. Every pro player should perform or simply be replaced. Every pro player should work their ass off, and if they don't, they should be replaced. Look at LPL and LCK. Players like TN, a world champion, can still be replaced and subbed in for. Faker was once benched. Even the best players need to work and show to keep their spots. Doublelift saying that the players of NA cannot lane against other regions because they don't use these opportunities to get better. I know I'm including every pro, and I'm sure there are pros who do care and practice every day, but that's not enough. All pros should be trying their best to perform, and if they can't, they should simply get replaced. The NA pro scene is dying, and it will hurt the game with it. Champions Queue really showed that a lot of pros just don't care. Yeah. I agree with pretty much most of this, actually, if not all of this, because we have Champions Queue results that came out. A lot of them don't actually play Champions Queue, even when Riot did go out of their way to make it better, you know? So, yeah, that's the thing that I definitely do agree with. Some of these players really don't actually try their ass off. Like players like Faker even know that they're replaceable if things get bad. Players like Faker, players like TN, players like Doing B, players like Rookie, they know they're replaceable. The next guy right there next to him will replace you. In NA, you really don't have that because there's not that many better options, but you can create these better options if you maybe kind of put your foot down and show these players that they're replaceable and you need to actually get better at what you're doing. So that's pretty much it about how I feel about things. So yeah, a lot of how NA plays at Worlds is also based around consistency too. Like the consistency in draft and play style and picks and decision making and positioning is not great. It never really has been good. But maybe going 3-3 in groups is just all you can expect. Maybe. But who knows? I hope Cloud9 can make it out. I hope they do. I still think the LCK teams are the best teams right now at Worlds. I think that Gen G has showed some weaknesses, but are kind of bouncing back, actually. I do think RNG have a chance at winning Worlds this year. Just from how I've been seeing them so far, it looks like they're like the scariest team right now. But that's how I feel personally. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week on the Cloud9 podcast. The podcast is going to be around 4 p.m. PST. I was busy today. So the Cloud9 podcast moving forward is going to be 4 p.m. PST. I do have other news videos that I do want to do for you guys. I don't want to blow all my content right now because I'm going to need some type of content after Worlds ends, right? So, yeah, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye. See you guys later. Peace. Also, before we leave, when does the LCS play? When does the LCS play?
January, as